side opens up the opportunity for an economy of scale as well, but I just want the lowest price. So to me, whoever that is, kind of is
All the bundles first.
Yes.
We will vet everybody accordingly.
Yeah. Before this, I had never even worked with Waterline.
Who has worked for in the past?
Most of my experience has been with Geotech, Liberty.
Okay.
I thought I'm missing one.
Cash.
I've worked some with Cash. Longer time ago, CC Carlton, most recently.
Some engineering.
I haven't worked with engineering. A little bit with D&T a long time ago. Chasco, I worked with. So, but it's been a bit.
Yes.
A lot of this.
I used to do with Randall Jones, and we dealt with a lot of different array of contractors.
Yeah.
So Cash, DMT, DC, Austin Engineering, Liberty Circle.
Yeah. A little bit everybody.
Everybody.
Okay, I think everybody's in the meeting now. A lot of people in the meeting, so we'll go ahead and get started.
Why aren't I in that meeting? 30 days.
Here.
Okay. I was trying to share my screen here.
Someone raised their hand. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'll go back.
Oh, it's a store.
Yeah, please. Can everybody hear me on the phone? Oh. Yes, absolutely. This is a combination of the Cliffside West subdivision construction plans by GFT and the raw water transmission main by Langan Engineering, both happening in the same physical space. So we thought it'd be better to bring those two projects together and hopefully have one contractor do both projects. So that was the reasoning behind that. Sorry if we're scaring and shocking some of you guys, but that was the intent. Matthew Hamilton is here with the owner's rep. Matthew, do you want to comment on it?
I mean, I think Richard really kind of said what we're looking for. I know this is a bit of a unique situation. I thank y'all for being flexible, but yeah, the idea is that we can build out the subdivision, which is Cliffside, at the same time as segment 0 of our raw water line. They're very close to each other, and we're hoping to get some economy of scale by having these two projects together. So you'll notice as we send out the bid packages that each project is an alternate to the other. We'll be looking at both bids separately, but in a way, we should be getting the same numbers or close to it from both separate engineers' bids, if that makes sense. I can appreciate this is a really unique and potentially confusing situation, so feel free to give me a call to kind of clear any of that up if we need to.
And yeah, let me just kind of introduce myself. My name is Richard Graham. I'm with GFT. Marco Lopez is also with GFT. These two gentlemen with Langan. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Israel Ramirez with Langan. And
Genaro Garcia, project engineer with Langan.
Alex Arndt with Geotech, SWPPP.
Riley Hilton with Liberty Civil Construction.
Okay. And then we have a cast of thousands on the teams. So I'm just going to show their names there and everybody can see everybody. Does anybody have anything they want to start off with? Any questions before we get too deep into my spiel? I appreciate that. Okay, well, this is the shared pre-construction conference, pre-bid conference for the Cliffside West subdivision plans. And an alternate to include dry utilities for that plan, and an alternate to include the raw water transmission line. The raw water transmission line comes from Lake Travis and it goes up a private easement, and then it goes through the Haney Flat Road right of way. Sorry, not the right of way, but an easement just outside the road right of way. But it does cross the road right of way. So we have two crossings of the road right of way. One with segment 0 and one with my project, the Cliffside West project. In addition to our permits, you'll have to get the right of way permit to cross the street, I believe, across Haney Flat Road. And Haney Flat Road is an active road, 45 miles an hour. So please use extreme caution out there. But it is an active road. And they did just, I don't know if you can see my screen, but where this says segment 0, right now there's a construction project to do what's called segment 1, and it kind of continues that to here. And then there was another project previously to do another water line that goes to here. So we're talking about now in this project to do the red segment 0. These other lines are in the ground. In addition to those lines, there's a few site projects out there, the water plant, the wastewater plant, and a few active golf course site plans, in addition to the golf course grading plan. The golf course grading plan is the Laura Loma golf course. It is a very new golf course, expensive turf, and we're going to have a lot of considerations about how to get you through the project without affecting the golf course. The golf course is active. What did you say the days were? Every day but Tuesday and Wednesday?
Yes.
And so if there's any need to cross the golf course path, we're going to probably have to cordon off. Let me just go to that portion of the work there. We may have to cordon off that portion of the work until we get a good window in summer to go through there. Or is that what you said, summer, June, July?
In July, the golf course will close, and so there could be a window there that we can get a lot of that work done without disturbing golf.
And so when he says the golf course, you know, the real big project, part of your project that's affected by that is just the road, Laura Loma Drive. Let me show you this road here. When you're working up here, it's probably not as important, but once you get closer to the golf course, they're going to want to make sure that we leave all the buffers in place and don't go beyond the limits of construction through the golf course. And when we do, we may have to coordinate any kind of crossings or anything like that with the golf course. The main one, I think, is this part of Perfect Drive that goes between, 1, 2 and the driving range. And then on the other side down here, where it's close to hole 18. So we may just have to talk about doing that work in a certain timing pattern. But there's enough work here to kind of go for a while. So I think that's not a big problem. I think there's like 15,000 linear feet of wastewater line. A lot of that is force mains going from 3 lift stations. And the lift stations there's one right there. There's one down here kind of in this little nook area. And the other one is on the other side across from the wastewater treatment plant. And I assume that's where you probably want to dig your test holes. So I'll get somebody's number to coordinate a place and a real limited test hole. If you want to dig any other test holes, other places, just let us know where and what for, and we can kind of consider it. But we're trying to get everybody away from the golf course as much as possible. And but I don't mind going down here or the other location kind of off the road where that lift station's going. So I think that's where you're most interested and where the test hole is. And there's some of these level spreaders. I don't think this one's actually in the contract, but there's an example of one where it's real close to golf, but it's outside. It's inside the LOC, but golf is right there. So we're trying to keep you guys as tight as possible in there without going over. And the grass is real expensive to replace. So, but other than that, it's just a standard. I say that it's a real tight on Haney Flat with the water and the wastewater and the gas and the electrical. And so what we have out there is we have a 15-foot utility easement for the gas and the electric. And we have another 15-foot for the water line and another 15-foot for the wastewater. But the 15-foot water line has a 24-inch raw water line in there. proposed and existing. And there's a very tight arrangement of how the water lines go together with the wastewater. And the wastewater profile has to be 2 feet lower than the water line profile, even though they're all pressure lines. So there's a very specific arrangement within Haney Flat. And like I said, that first 15 feet already contains the electric. So they made it even tighter to work in. But there is a 20-foot easement on the south side away from Haney Flat to work in. So I think we do have the limits of construction to accomplish, putting in the raw water line first, because I think that's the big sucker. And then putting in the wastewater lines, because those are just 8-inch and 4-inch lines through there. So I tried to upload the CAD, the Geotech for the streets, and also the Geotech for some of the site plans in the area, because I thought that would be interesting, because like this is, there's a site plan down here. We had Geotech for called the golf house. So I included some of that into your plans, but there's the third lift station. And I know your contract didn't have 3 lift stations in the bid form yesterday, but it does this morning. So your updated contract is in there. And I'm sure you're going to find some things that I forgot about. So please put a Q&A. I'll open up the Q&A for you to tell me what I forgot. We will consider it, put it in there if appropriate. Want everybody to bid the same numbers. So if you see something, say something, because somebody's going to say something. I'm going to add it later. So let's just get everything in there and try to bid everything. We have a tight deadline of April 15th, and we really want to honor that for the client, because they need to sell some of these lots. And in order to sell some of these lots, you can build these lines. The lift stations are pretty standard lift stations, pretty much RCP kind of lift stations. If you have any questions about them, we can change things about them. We had considered y'all usually do the caisson method, but if that's not the case, we put some wings on them and save you some concrete. We're willing to work with you. We designed everything, and we can undesign it and redesign it if it saves the client a lot of money. It saves the client a little bit of money, it costs us a lot of money, it's probably not worth it. So just be considerate of the designers. A lot of things called waterway buffers, and a lot of places boring. We're boring this whole area down here because we're crossing the waterway buffer without a road. We can open cut through here because we're crossing the waterway buffer with the road. So I think the plans are right. If you see something you have a question about, just ask. We could put in the addendum, but we're trying to just do exactly what's in the plans. We're pretty far along in the reviews. We're the 3rd round of comments, and we're fighting over things like, does a stop sign go on this intersection or not? So I don't think it's going to move the needle with some of the things we're in permit for, but we feel like we're going to be out of permit in early May and be ready to go, have contracts signed up, and hopefully moving in June is the hope. And that's why we don't want to move the bid date. We want to get people working in June as opposed to starting in October. Langan, what do you have to say about your 24-inch raw water line?
Thank you, Richard. 24-inch water line, we're doing 5,400 feet of that 24-inch, as mentioned by Richard. It should be the first
Let me go to this
item that gets furnished.
I have those plans here on them.
Thank you, Richard. We have fully approved plans, so we will be issuing notice to proceed as soon as we can, based on the bid opening. So right now, our bid says April 6th, but we will move it to fall in line with Richard's opening on the 15th. We will send out an addendum. Your typical inline furnishing of a 24-inch HDPE main. We need certified welders. We need good, quick production on that main, so Richard's subdivision can come in then after. The goal is to get same contractor to do both. As mentioned by Matthew, there's a lot of work out here in Spicewood, and we want y'all to bid appropriately for it.
And just you kind of see the location of my project kind of ends right there and goes for a ways up the street, and their project continues through some easements through here. And some of them are 15-foot easements.
Correct. And so
Yeah, so it's very precise line work, and I think we have the line work in CAD to kind of show you exactly where to put it. And so we're banking on the contractors to get everything exactly in that 15-foot easement, and then I think that's kind of the what I think is the what they need to know.
it'll be inspected by Travis County, LCRA. ECQ is not a part of segments 0.
And the district engineer may be out there for Jones Heroy.
That's right. Jones Hero will be out there. Our project is open up for questions. We started answering questions. Please feel free to ask whatever's appropriate.
I think someone in the chat asked if the HDPE needed to be domestic. Is there any preference in that?
We can find out.
And we'd like the products to be on the City of Austin standard products list, and if not, provide reasoning why you think it should be on there so we can consider it for use.
Agreed.
And if you have a different pump for the lift station, same thing, just provide what you think it should be. And if you can, provide the calcs or at least the pump curve, and we can do the calcs. But we're happy to look at anything you have that's different. It just needs to be something that's going to last long and not have to be replaced. And obviously there's some 1295 requirements in the contract that everybody will have to acknowledge too. And I don't think there's any kind of funny no Israel products or anything at this point, but just look through that contract document. It is the standard ABHR contract. And if you have any questions or substitutions, I think we put something in our contract for a way to substitute items in there. So. The natural seating out there is the LCRA natural seating spec. I can provide it as an addendum. I don't know if it's in the contract, but it's what they're looking for out there. So we're not looking for Bermuda or rye. It's a natural LCRA.
Hill Country blend.
Hill Country hippie blend. Marco, what do you think?
I think you say already everything about the project, so yeah.
Yeah, nothing funny. We think well, I'll tell you that there's a storm sewer system up on these hills that kind of has a great inlet on top of a storm sewer system, but there's a kind of a falls area where we kind of invite you to lose your big rock here. We think you are going to have some big rock spoils, and I think what we're going to try to do is kind of like line them up kind of over here in this back area. We're already building a berm here. So if you need to build the berm with some of those rocks, that's a great place to lose rocks. And I think there's a berm up here as well. And what's happening is there's a big flow of water coming off of this area in big floods. And it's the golf driving range. So the sooner we can get those berms up, the sooner we can keep you guys working in dryness. But that would be my hint to kind of helping yourselves there. Other than that, there's an active water plant going on right there with active construction, but it may be a good driveway for you to kind of get in to some of this back area. The maintenance facility is permitted, but it's not under construction yet, but it is a site where we can probably bring you out through here to avoid the golf course stuff. But the golf course operation right now is kind of happening right around here. And so that's just, you'll see the tents out there, but I'll give you a contact name to coordinate with to go out there and look at stuff in the field and maybe a test pit or two on the addendum and in the Q&A.
And then can you take us to a pre-line? So something that we'd like to kind of make y'all aware of is these two are being bid right now, kind of in conjunction with each other. We are expecting to bid 3 more subdivision phases, in a large spine road in the next 6 months. We expect that to be $100 million worth of work, to be coming down the pipeline. And so we kind of want y'all to keep that in mind, that this is an opportunity to partner with us, not just for this Cliffside project, but for the foreseeable future. We have a lot of work that needs to get done out on these couple thousand acres, and are looking for every partner that we can have to make this possible as quickly as we can. So Richard's showing, these are the three tracks. So if you kind of do the 2 on the boundary. So it's
Are these, sorry,
yeah, so 1, 2, and then you know where 48 is, Richard.
is it this one?
It's that one right there, that's subdivision part, not the,
Oh, sorry.
yep, that right there. Those are the 3 that will be coming up here in the next few months, and then Spine Road is our main collector, and it runs from Paleface down to 71. There's water included in that as well. All of this will also have ancillary projects like groundwater storage tanks and wastewater treatment plants and lift stations and all the supporting infrastructure. So a lot to be built as soon as we can, a lot to be bid out, and hoping that we can continue to have competitive bids with contractors that we like working with, and yeah, have y'all out there as much as we can. So this is just kind of one of the ways to get into this. For the contractors that aren't already out there.
And this project does not include these 2 streets, but it does include the utilities within Haney Flat and then the lift station to make it all tie together. So just FYI, these 2 things will be shown as not in your contract, but we are building the lines to the wastewater plant, to the wastewater lift station, and then across to the plant. But just one of the peculiarities of the project, and we'll release that one next, shortly thereafter. But we want to get this one on the ground, get going.
As well, at the end of segment 0, there's another portion of the project called the intake. And that'll furnish 24-inch main from Haney Flat all the way to Lake Travis, and also an intake barge. And that one will also be bid in the next 6 months as well.
Yep, nice.
10 million.
And yeah, that piece is right here and connects onto the end of this piece, segment 0.
Correct.
And then, we have these easements through here, that should be in the plans. And what else? And then obviously this is the other section that's under construction right now, and over there, some of this, so we've got, 2 years of construction under our belt over there, so. I figured out, what questions do you guys have? Nice.
There are a few that came through.
Really tricky. They're gonna include an alt in the raw water line for Cliffside.
That is the plan.
That is the plan, yes. Peyton, do you hear that? The plan is to have 2 bids, one with an alternate sub, and then flip a main and alternate, and then flip the other one. So, do you want questions posted? Yes, I do want questions posted on SIPCAST, and I will open up the question answering. Thank you for your patience. Yes, you can get a KML of the water and wastewater lines for each project, so you can view on Google Earth. Love that question. Lump sum or unit price project. It'll be a unit price project, but with the expectation you're bidding everything in the construction plan. So if there's something that's not in there, it should be in the unit price, and we just need to get it in there. So let's talk about it. Okay. I think there will be a water right-of-way permit for the water main that crosses Haney Flat to go to the wastewater plant, but it's part of the same right-of-way permit that the wastewater crosses with. So yeah, I do think you do need to make that, and I will enable the QA. When will be the last day for questions? I'll make it Monday, the 12th, so I can address an addendum at least 24 hours before the opening on the 15th.
Or pre-open.
Yes.
Anybody else have any verbal questions or anything else? Is man sand acceptable? I'm gonna have to ask my man sand guy. I don't know what that even means.
Manufactured sand.
Manufactured sand.
Yes, sir. Just send us the middle in,
Yeah.
and we will review it against the gradation. And, yeah, I mean, if it meets the spec, you're set.
Yeah, we're not trying to make anything really expensive, and I use Austin specs, but I'm not trying to make this an Austin job. I just need convenient specs everybody knew about. So if there's something we need to work with you on, we'll work with you on. But there are going to be LCRA inspectors out there every day looking at everything you do with the work. Travis County is probably going to only review your storm and paving, but we'll have our own guys look at your water and wastewater lines. So.
Yeah, well, and a lot of this is, so for Cliffside, a lot of that paving is gonna end up being private. We only have a little bit that is public county work. So you may not even have as much oversight as you're expecting.
And the Geotech says that we're going to use this section for low PI and this section for high PI. We really haven't come into the high PI clays anywhere on the project, and we've been some pretty hilly places. So with the exception of maybe like some low ravines that just carried a lot of water, we really hadn't do that beefed up section anywhere. We have it in the contract just because we have the numbers available to us, but hopefully we're not planning on using all that thickened section through there. Just FYI, the lab will be the final test, but we'll have you open up to the bottom layer and have them look at it and make sure everything's up and up. But we've been using the small section everywhere else has been fine. So.
Is the small section what's included as the
base
The
bit is
base
the big section. It's
base bit, the big section?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the most.
Okay.
It's conservative.
As long as we're consistent,
Yeah.
we'll change that out if we need to.
Yeah, so I mean, we're not using it on the other section and it's still in the contract, but it just gives us the ability to use it if we need it everywhere.
Mhm.
So, I think Travis County wants it that way, but that's it. Does anybody else have any questions or? Oh.
Peyton was asking on the gas plans we provided.
Let me reach out to the gas, but the gas should be on the other side of the electric in most every case, in a PUE. So, as soon as I get them, I'll pass them along, but, it's the same Texas gas service, one gas. And I apologize if we don't have them anymore. And I did make up some quantities for the electrical, just to kind of I don't think I have a full electrical design for Cliffside West yet.
Okay.
I think I put something in the plans for the location, but I think we really need to get their, cabinets and everything from them. But I put some numbers in there for us to bid and have some unit prices to go from when we get there.
The question regarding the Excel for segment 0, we will consider that. We didn't do it for segment 1, but we understand the need for it. And we will consider that.
And I'll post my bid form once I get some of these questions answered. So I feel like you're gonna find something I forgot. One opening be held for both projects. I think we had planned to do 1 at 10 and 1 at 2.
Correct.
Yeah, we're doing 1 at 10 and 1 at 2. And again, it's really, I kind of feel like it's one project. So I don't know.
We'll discuss that, and if it changes, we'll issue an addendum.
I feel like you guys are concerned you're doing 2 bid tabs or 2 bid bonds for one effort. I guess we can, keep it on the base bid or something. I don't know. Tell us what makes it easier and cheaper for you guys, and we'll try to work that way. The whole point was just get economy of scale. Yes, the raw water line deadline we pushed on SIPCAS to April 15th.
Correct.
Yes.
We will send it on the deadline.
The question deadline wasn't the 15th, it was the same time as yours.
Mine is the 15th, and his was, I think, shown as the 7th or the 8th.
Okay.
Right now we have the 9th.
The 9th, okay.
Yeah, the 9th is opening. Sorry, they're asking about the question deadline.
Oh, the question deadline, sorry.
It would be the same on the 12th.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. Yeah, we'll push that to the 12th, Peyton.
Thank you, man.
Is SWPPP and material testing gonna be covered by the owner of the contractor?
We have the SWIP in the plans, and the material testing is covered, the first tests are covered by the owner, and any retests are covered by the contractor. But the SWIP we have in the plans is, unit costs in there, I believe. And if they make you go way above and beyond the unit cost, we'll extend the unit cost for you. LCRA is kind of giving us some crazy stuff in the woods, but I think we're out here on the flat land, so I think it's pretty sane, normal up here. I think everything's pretty shallow. I didn't see anything too deep or anything. We do have to be 5 feet deep in the right of ways, so that's why we're probably a little extra deep on the utilities. Travis County's a little militant about their depth.
And then for test holes, do you guys want us to just kind of provide y'all with what we're looking at, digging pretty much, and you guys can say, take this one off, so forth?
Yeah, as far as locations go.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of concern of even getting the equipment
Yeah.
in and not disturbing golf. So we'll just have to coordinate.
Mm.
I'll probably be the contact, so I can get with you on. And we can discuss it. Peyton, your question about schedules, please submit a schedule for the raw water line as well. We will, schedules are very important to us as we consider these both bids. So please consider that in your bid as well.
And if you haven't signed in the meeting chat, please sign in and put your phone number and email when we update. We'll try to get everybody, make sure everybody's on the SIPCAS. And if you're not, we'll make sure you get the agenda. But SIPCAS will be our clearinghouse, so please look at SIPCAS for everything. And questions are best email. Please don't call with questions, because I just want to make sure everything's up and up. Weekend work available?
It'll depend on where in the project. Again, just being considerate of golf, that's going to be the busiest time for us. But if it is allowed within the county, then we can discuss it. Yes.
The county has pretty strict pre-construction rules, and they're all listed in the contract, so everything's in there. But it is Travis County and LCRA are the main inspectors out there. Our district guys will be looking at water and wastewater trenches more than anything else out there at the lift stations, some controls. But if you have any questions about them, just let us know.
If you're planning to include weekend work in your schedule, just make sure you note that so that we can consider apples to apples if we decide we can't actually do weekend work. MLA is our Geotech.
Haney Flat is a narrow road traveled by quite a bit of people. Very expensive cars go up and down that road, so just take that into account. Haney Flat will always need to be cleared. Those safety construction entrances will need to be maintained almost on the daily. Yes.
I'm gonna push out a little update revision to show, the walls a little better and the metal beam guard fence in my plans. It wasn't shown clearly in the original, bid, but, just so there'd be a small, one sheet thing just showing where those are and what those are and what we're kind of expecting through there, so it is. But it is too pronounced, Travis County making me get a structural engineer on it. Seal on.
We don't want that.
Like that. Almost through. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, I'll let everybody have the rest of their hour back. And thank you all for attending, and we look forward to a robust bidding, and I'm sure there will be addenda coming your way. So be patient, and thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, there.